Today, after meditation, we'll take a message on pursuit of excellence from Padma Shri, Dr. Ramani sir. Meditation is for excellence. In the practice of spirituality, perfection does not exist, but excellence exists. We recognize that there's infinity of doing things. So there isn't anything called perfect, but excellence. Whatever we do, we excel, excel, excel. There's excellence. That word excellence is there. And as leaders, organization leaders, business leaders, companies leaders, leaders for the homes, institutes, we constantly are striving for excellence. So we will take message from Ramani sir. In a survey of thousands of leaders, in terms of success, what are the core characteristics when they studied? Top 5 things when they looked at. First thing that came out is that how much passionate you are with your cause. How much passion that we have. Passion and clarity, these two things go together. When you're passionate, when you talk about it, when you're passionate, you're actually constantly thinking about it. So the more we put up where your attention goes, the energy flows. The more we think about it, the more we receive, get clarity. So the passionate, the go-getters, that go beyond the status. When you have passion, then it works in many ways, right? The go-getters. You're not dropping things for somebody else to pick up. The leaders are looking at constantly, and then if they take up, then they're going to see that it's got to get completed. To be successful, we have to have that passion is absolutely there, required, and then go-getters. You are going, and then they're going beyond the status quo. We learn this. We cannot be working under the comfort zone. We know that meditation is rekindling the passion for life. Meditation is increasing the passion for life because meditation is helping us become that self-expressive. So we know what we want. We take what is required for us and then start working on it. So that's when passion automatically is there, when you identify what is important for us. We kept it aside in many ways and then just going with the society, the environment. We're breaking that. But many leaders have figured this out before. They figured it out before meditation, they figured it out. But how did it come? They all must have meditated a lot in the past. They're confident and positive. These leaders, highly confident. This is a survey of thousands of leaders. In that, the 5 characteristics, if you take it, one, they're highly passionate. So whatever they take up, they talk about, actually dream. They're giving their time and energy to it all the time, not as just another thing. Confident and positive. Exhibit enormous amount of confidence in whatever they know. They keep going forward. They know that they can manifest it. They have done their homework. They don't have that fear, uncertainty, and doubt about what they're going after. They'll not have that doubt that, okay, what are you talking about? When that's what we used to hear from Patriji. spiritualize dhyana jagat. Spiritualize the word. I'm hearing this thing from 2002 or 3. Spiritualize the world. Every person on the planet Earth should become a meditator and become a vegetarian. This is the goal. And I never heard, when he says with the conviction, there's no uncertainty or doubt in his mind. Third, they enable the teams, the communicators of the vision. So we understand the big picture. We no longer feel worried about sharing information. The leaders don't worry about sharing information. We holding close to the chest because we are in survival mode, whereas just go out and then talk about the big picture vision as much as possible, give the vision, what's happening. We don't limit to a department to only that much. We don't limit an individual to only what he or she is supposed to do. Instead, you give the big picture. Continuously provide where is the business going? Where are we with respect to customers? What are the issues that we're facing? Everything. They give the vision, they give as much information as possible to that. One is the vision, big vision. What is today? What is 5 years? What is 10 years? If you have a big picture, then you know how your work is different, isn't it? One is to say that our Buddhasiya Foundation is just, okay, going to do online classes regularly, class after class after class. That's one way of talking about a vision. Another is to say that now at least 100 million business leaders, organization leaders, worldwide leaders, whatever the number is, they are all become transformed. They all become meditators. They all become Buddha CEOs. They all develop socio-spiritual responsibility in the world. They narrate the big picture. We heard that thing about the 3 masons constructing Taj Mahal. One is just building a wall. That's all he knew. Another is building not a wall, but another is building a world monument, world wonder. One person is told, you're building a wall, just build it. Another person is told, you're building a world wonder, so build it. The second person is told, you're building a great tomb for a king's wife. So, king. So then he has a certain level of understanding that many people will come. The third one is told, you're building a world wonder. The quality is different. The commitment with which they do is different when they understand the vision. So they are very great enablers of vision. They talk about the vision, big picture, very importantly, communicate what they're doing. Of course, they're creative, a small company. But the last one, they're very creative as a company. So yesterday we learned, they are very creative. They want to do things differently. They don't try to follow the convention as much as possible on things where people have not gone, treaded. You have to be creative, of course, to be differentiating. But then they trust the people quite a bit. Trusting in the team. At the end of the day, the first thing venture capitalists ask when you go for investment, first thing is, who's your team? You have a team. Where are your team members? We all know it. Anything can happen only with the team. Working with the people, trusting the team is the most important aspect of us. The whole 6-week program for us, if you have to take away, is recognize that we have infinite potential. We do it. We recognize that using our thoughts and feelings, we create our reality, and become one with everybody. Second one is to become one with everybody. One, we have infinite potential, keep doing it. Second, we become one as much, drop every difference, drop the differences. Forgive, forget, whatever way that you think. If you can't forgive, forget about it, right? But drop the difference and become one. Extend, enable. So they trust the team and work with people. So the 5 things, dear friends. Passionate, confident, and very positive, no fear, uncertainty, and doubt. Communicating the vision, creative, and then trusting the people. If we do these 5 things, they said they're all very successful. And then friends, meditation, this meditation, breath mindfulness meditation is rewiring our neural networks, changing us biologically in ways, expanding our intellect, sharpening our intellect in many, many ways, that we imbibe these 5 qualities most naturally. Most naturally, we do not have to do anything more. We do not have anything more. Because as we are getting in touch with the infinite field, that as we're experiencing that wholeness, as we're experiencing that power inside us, while of course we are expanding our consciousness significantly by reading the wisdom of so many masters, then naturally we become those leaders. We have to become those leaders. Sooner or later, we have to become totally different personality. Because we are fundamentally changing our personality. Our personality is creating a personal reality, so we are changing our personality as we work, do this work. So shall we go into this meditation once again? Relax yourself. We are doing breath mindfulness meditation. We observe our normal, natural in-breath and out-breath in this meditation. Our goal is to empty our mind. And for that, we close our eyes, cross our fingers into fingers, rest our hands comfortably in our lap, and observe our in-breath and out-breath. Cross our feet at ankles. So cross our feet, fingers into fingers, rest our hands comfortably in our lap, close our eyes, remove the specs, and observe your in-breath and out-breath. When we observe the breath, our mind becomes empty. And when the mind becomes empty, we slowly merge into that greater emptiness that is surrounding us, which is that quantum energy field. So, relax yourself, sit comfortably. And before doing this anapanasati, or this is called breath mindfulness meditation, we will go into a heart elevation process, which is to fill up our heart with love, gratitude, compassion, any of the heightened emotions. Any of the heightened emotions that help us connect into everybody, that makes our brain empty, slow down, makes our brain slow down. Relax yourself. This emptiness is different for different people. It's always a challenge. What is that emptiness? We say become aware of that emptiness on your left side or right side around you, where there's no body, no thing, no one. So no entity, no object, no place. So when we are putting our awareness, which is outside the body, and then when you don't feel it, if an object is coming to your mind, then of course we are still in the body, right? Still in this life. If the wall is something that you're seeing it as, and let's say put your awareness and you actually feel that wall is there. Feel is a word from the body. I'm saying you become aware of that wall, attention, you are observing that wall is there. That means you are still in the body. But if you observe that nothing is there, it's all just going out, which is, what is the color of it? It could be colorless. What is the color of water? It could be colorless. It could be black. It could be darkness, whatever that darkness to you mean. For some people, darkness can mean brownish, bluish color, whatever that means, because it depends. We all are brought up in a certain way. If you always had a bedroom with a certain color of light every night, then for you, darkness may mean that. It could be that. Darkness, blackness. For some, it's golden light. Just the light spread everywhere. Nothing else is there. It's void of object, place, person, thing, anything. So when for some of them are oceans. So when you are feeling any of these, grayish color, bluish color, for some it's that, whatever your notion of the space. In childhood when you were studying, then you sort of came across the space. Right, that space is all we knew is just infinitely empty, and there's some notion of a black hole,
or any of those can come as your emptiness, where nothing exists. If you feel that there is still walls, still furniture, still people, what do you do? Simply return to the present moment. How do we return to the present moment? Observing a breath. We got to go back to the breath, observe the breath. My guidance may go forward. Don't bother with the guidance. Observe the breath. Bring yourself back. The more you observe, you bring it back into the present moment slowly, slowly. In the present moment where you're becoming empty. When you're empty, you're in the present moment. So bring yourself to observe the breath, become present, integrate into the present moment. And then again, start looking at your awareness. Where is your awareness going? Left side, right side, all around. That's the way you can join back into the guidance every time you get distracted. You see what I'm saying? To follow my guidance back again to observe emptiness, then you go back into your present moment quickly, instantaneously go into breath, observe the breath, few observations, slowly, slowly, slowly. I mean, everything comes with practice, friends. The more you practice, the more quickly you can observe. Because when I say you can observe, we are training our brain muscle. We're training the neural circuits. We're implanting this skill called, when I put attention to the breath, then suddenly the brain is all ready to put all its energy onto it and then stay in for some time, right? So the moment you want to go and attend the breath, then the skill is there now, because the neural network is getting thicker and thicker and thicker every day we practice it. So over a period, you can get into that observing the breath, and then the moment you observe the breath, becoming lighter, 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 it all happens because we stop analyzing. When we stop analyzing of, am I with the breath? Is my breath longer, shorter? When we drop that analytical mind, again, that is also something we are implanting. We are programming ourselves by regularly meditating to drop that analytical mind, to be just naturally with the breath, and to simply be observing and witnessing what's happening. The more we can become witness, the more faster it becomes lighter, because if we are analyzing, then we are still spending energy as a thought, and then so body still has to work more and more. When you drop all of it, anyway, we made the body still, and then the more we are making the mind still too, we become empty very quickly, and then go into the present moment, and that is the time we can experience that emptiness. Wonderful. So let's listen to Dr. Ramani sir. Sheetal can introduce.
My name is Sheetal. I'm from Atlanta, Georgia. I'm very happy to introduce our leader, Dr. Ramani sir. Dr. R.V. Ramani, founder and managing trustee of Shankara Eye Foundation, India, has been awarded the prestigious Padma Shri Award from the Government of India in recognition of his work in the field of medical services. In 1977, Dr. R.V. Ramani set up Sri Kanchi Kamakoti Medical Center, which later became Sri Kanchi Kamakoti Medical Trust, a registered charitable trust in India. Through this trust, he, along with his wife, Dr. Radha, established a network of 11 super specialty hospitals across the states in India, and 2 more are under construction. Dr. R.V. Ramani is also a member of the Board of Governors Medical Council of India. Dr. Ramani has been practicing breath mindfulness meditation formally for the past few months. He is a strong inspiration for Buddha CEO Quantum Foundation and is a mentor for the foundation. Let us all welcome Dr. Ramani sir.
Dear friends, in this satsang, a very happy morning to all of you. It's indeed my pleasure to spend a few minutes interacting with all of you, taking your precious morning hours. I am consciously aware of the fact that there are some very senior people in this group, people who have accomplished a lot, who have set examples. For them, whatever I'm going to speak over the next maybe around 15 minutes, the take-home message may not be much because these are things which they are regularly practicing. Nevertheless, for the benefit of everyone in this group, I would like to share some of my thoughts. Friends, all of you are successful, highly successful, ethical professionals, businessmen and women, and entrepreneurs. We are all here to further enhance the quality of life. The quality of life for ourselves, for our family, and the society at large. Precisely that is the reason why all of us are here enjoying the meditation program. Some of the jet aircrafts have two sets of engines. One set of engine help in taking the aircraft to a very high level. It just takes it as much as possible to a high level. And once it reaches a level, the second set of engines, I believe they are fired to give that forward thrust. That forward thrust at an enormous pace and momentum. Similarly, we are here having achieved something in our life, how this meditation can give us that forward thrust. It is that forward thrust which is going to take us further and further and make life more comprehensive and wholesome for every one of us. All of us have heard of the power of one. The power of one. It has always been the fire of passion within an individual which has brought about changes. When this power of one gets disseminated with more people, then the result is something phenomenal. Excellence is nothing but this power of one. It is a pursuit. Excellence is a pursuit. It is not a goal at all. It derives from the word excelsus. It says beyond the high. There is always a scope to go beyond. We are sitting in this room. This roof is the highest point here. We go to the floor next, then there is yet another room and a roof there. So similarly, excellence is a pursuit. We keep on improving. It is not a goal. It is an ongoing phenomenon. And the very charm lies in the fact that it is ongoing. The charm of excellence. We need to cultivate. Excellence is in the DNA of every one of us. And we need to cultivate this excellence. And that's where meditation as an excellent tool comes in to further cultivate this, what is in our DNA. My first encounter with excellence, my father, Dr. Ramanathan, he had a driver by name Abdul. Those days, my father had an A40, a sedan, a black sedan. The car is an A40, beautiful car. And I always used to see this Abdul cleaning the car all the time. Even if he gets about 5-10 minutes, he'll be cleaning the car, he'll wiping it. And even as a playful child, we go and keep our hand on the car, he'll just come and pull it up and say, no, don't touch. Don't spoil it. It looks so nice. Why you want to spoil it? That is a passion for him. Those days, we never had this kind of a automatic gear system. It was all manual gears. And people used to suddenly put the brakes and things like that. But we have never seen Abdul doing any of these things. It used to be a pleasure traveling with him in the car. Whenever there is an intersection of roads, from the fourth gear, he will slowly move over to the third gear and the vehicle will beautifully come down in its speed and then on to the second gear and a minimal braking. It was like going in an aircraft. We always felt like as if we are going in an aircraft. That is the kind of a driving. He's a driver. That is his job. But he has perfected it. He felt that he should excel in that particular field. A friend of mine, a leading luminary in the country, Mr. Gopalakrishnan, who was earlier with Hindustan Lever and later with Unilever and then the Tata Sons right now. Once he came and addressed one of my friends in one of my friends' hospitals in Coimbatore. And what he said about excellence really gave a deep impression in my mind. He said, most of you might know that in London, in 80s and 90s, Indian restaurants were not popular at all. People never used to go to an Indian hotel or a restaurant. They always go to either a Japanese restaurant or a Chinese restaurant. Taj had a hotel there. And they started in early 90s, a restaurant, and named it as Taj Koilon. Koilon, some of you might know, is in Kerala. They started a restaurant and named it as Taj Koilon. Within 3 months of starting of this restaurant, it just became a runaway hit. There were hundreds and hundreds of people waiting in the evening. Nobody would go to either the Japanese or the Chinese restaurant, for that matter, any of the restaurants, and they'll stand in front of the Taj Koi Lone. Something amazing. One could not even believe. And Gopal, once we went there, he was staying in Taj. He was observing the whole drama. He approached the senior, the chief chef over there, by name Sriram Ailur, and asked him, Mr. Ailur, tell me, how did you make this happen? Just 3 months in London, and you made a miracle. How did it happen? Ailur said, sir, I work for 10 months. I don't take leave at all. At the end of that, I get 2 months leave. I go back to my native place. Out of those 2 months, I spend 2 weeks with my family. And then the next 6 weeks, I go to the coastal Kerala. I go to the villages in coastal Kerala. I stay there with those families. Some of them fishermen, some of them agriculturists. I stay with them. And in the evening, I go and watch in their kitchen how these women are preparing their food. I take notes. At the end of that 6 weeks, believe me, sir, I would have had 10 exotic recipes not known to the world at all. Something which is out of the world. And I come back and introduce in Taj Koi Lone, and that's where the success lies. That is the excellence, moving towards excellence, that pursuit. He never felt that I am the chef in Taj. He felt I have to keep on improving what we are doing. Again, Gopal was talking about yet another experience. He was posted in Jeddah as a managing director, and the company gave him a Mercedes car. And one Mr. Govindan Nair was his chauffeur. Every time when he parks the car, immediately Govindan Nair will come around running and open the door for him, for Gopal to get down. This was happening and he felt a bit embarrassed, and Gopal said, look, I don't want all these formalities. Why do you want to do this? I can get down. Nair replied, said, sir, you're my boss and I have to give you the respect. But beyond that, the doors of a Mercedes is not like a ambassador. You don't have to bang it. So I thought I'll just come and help you on this. And even inadvertently, when you open the door, somebody comes and rams. I don't want anything to happen to the vehicle. Sir, permit me to continue with what I'm doing. That is excellence. Someone who feels I own this, this is my cause, this is my work, and I will keep on perfecting it. In our own institution, Shankara Eye Hospital, we have some of the finest surgeons working with us. We are blessed with that. Our director, Dr. J.K. Reddy, someone who has mastered cataract and corneal surgeries 20 years back. This guy is just not happy getting 6 results, 100% results. He wants to see beyond what he can do. A lot of research. There is a disease called Stevens-Johnson syndrome, which is basically an allergy to sulfur drug. A nursing staff from Calicut, almost 20 years back, she took sulfur by mistake and the whole body dried up. Whole body dried up, she lost vision. 10 years she has been going from place to place, nothing happened. Then she came. By then, Dr. Reddy had tried with a friend of mine, Jagannathan Nageshwar of genetics in Coimbatore. He tried making a titanium bridge and a beautiful lens over there. Normal donor cornea cannot be implanted in people suffering from this disease. So he made a prosthesis and named it as Kovai Keratoprosthesis. Kovai is for Coimbatore. And then he implanted it on this person, Sarama John from Kerala. Third day, after the bandages are out, this lady saw J.K. Reddy on the corridor and he said, Doc, she could see. For 10 long years, she had not seen her daughter, she had not seen her grandchildren. Now she could see. Wonderful vision. She said, Doc, I have not seen Jesus. You are my Jesus. So that is pursuing excellence, taking forward. Whatever we are doing, how can we move forward? Steve Jobs, when someone asked him, what are you going to do? He never said, I'm going to bring in a computer. I'm going to bring a cell phone. He said, I want to make a dent in the universe. That dent in the universe he did make in his Apple. So that is the kind of an ambition. Dream big and dream high. Having a small aim is a crime, said Dr. Abdul Kalam. Never have a small aim. It's a crime. Dream big, dream high. And a singular focus. Having dreamt, we need to have a focus. This morning, Chandra was mentioning. Have a singular focus. Swami Vivekananda said, take one particular idea, make it as your dream, think of it all the time, keep on repeating it in every part of your body, your muscles, your bones, your nerves, in every part of your body, reverberate with that thought. Leave all other thoughts aside, and that is the way to succeed. Friends, as we approach having taken a dream as our goal, having taken to see that there is focus, there is no shortcuts. We never go in for shortcuts. Once the Paramacharya of Kanchi beautifully explained, you are walking towards the sun. That's your goal. And your shadow follows you very diligently. The moment you said, I want to catch it quickly, my shadow is my recognition, my wealth, my status, my achievements. I want to catch it quickly. I want to take a shortcut. He turns back and walks towards that. He will never, never, ever reach his shadow. So those shortcuts in our life, passion and hard work. These are the two fundamental bases for excellence. Sachin Tendulkar, the little master, he had proved himself to the world the last match he played. It was not any of those recognized matches. It was not any of those T20 or anything. It was just a friendly match between two clubs in Mumbai. I believe the day before that match, he practiced for 3 hours. He didn't have to prove himself at that point of time. That is passion. That is hard work for what we are doing. No one has died because of hard work. Hard work never kills anybody. It is the stress which kills someone. 15 minutes of work, you do something which you don't like at all. That is stress. 15 hours, you do a job which you love, you'll never feel stressed. We see Chandra Master, morning till night, so many classes. He's not stressed because he loves it. So passion and hard work, having done that, it is the team building. Without team, nothing happens. Individuals cannot achieve much. Teamwork need not necessarily mean unanimity of ideas, but it necessarily means unanimity of purpose. We have people with unanimity of purpose. Group them, take them, because they are the Atma. Atma of any organization is a human resource, it is a team. Thanks to COVID, earlier we never used to think of those class 4 employees with us. Sometimes we take it for granted. Now we feel that every single person in an organization will matter a lot. So build the team, and then the institution becomes a loved institution and a respected institution. Friends, we want to excel in life, and as the organization is built beautifully, and we are so proud and happy, rightly so, it's a pardonable pride, and we say, okay, this is my portrait. We take a selfie. So our work, our pursuit of excellence, something like our own selfie, we should be proud to say, I'm autographing it. Please take it. This is my selfie, my portrait. Friends, Bhagavad Gita, prayer is a way to reach the Almighty, the energy, the infinity, one of the ways. Mahatma Gandhi once said, when doubts haunt me, when disappointments stare me on my face, when I see not a ray of hope in the horizon, I turn to Bhagavad Gita. I immediately find a verse to comfort me. Friends, all of us do have a duty. The difference between what we do and what we are capable of doing is enough to solve most of the problems of the world, said Mahatma Gandhi. In a gentle way, he said, we can shake the world. That change can happen when it starts from the individual. I would like to, before concluding, go through a beautiful poem written by Dr. Abdul Kalam. I'm sure some of you would have gone through that as well. Permit me to just read it for you. The Life Tree was a poem which was conceptualized when Dr. Kalam was flying between the cities of Hyderabad and Delhi. As he looked down from the skies, all he saw were the pristine white clouds covering all of human habitat. All he had for company were his friend Vidyasagar and the majestic moonlight. It prodded him into asking some very pertinent questions. The life tree. He says, "O my human race, how we were born in the universe of near infinity. Are we alone? There was a divine echo in the full moon night from my creator, shaken, bewildered, and wondered. The echo engulfed me and my race. You, the human race, is the best of my creation. You will live and live. You give and give till you're united in human happiness and pain. My bliss will be born in you. Love is the mission of humanity. You will see every day in this life tree." Kalam says, love is the mission of humanity. Travel with me to early 20th century. Mahakavi Subramanya Bharati evokes this very same creator. With much gratitude, he says, "Ettanai kodi inbam vaithai Ireva." In Tamil, he says, "Ettanai kodi inbam vaithai Ireva." He says, with the mere 5 elements, you, the Almighty, created this vibrant and beautiful life around me. Mukti endru oru nilai samaithar. He says, salvation is the goal. Bhakti is the journey, says Bharati. Love is the mission of humanity, says Kalam. Are Bhakti and love different? Bhakti is love for God, that infinity, that energy, that universal energy, and love is devotion to all of God's creation. He concludes, "O human race, come, let us sing the song of creation." Friends, we have been enjoying this meditation, this wonderful program, session after session after session. I can only say that when we talk about this energy, when we talk about this universal energy, that infinity, which we are trying to realize, which is there in every one of us, there are 2 very important Vedic concepts, which could be beautifully said and beautifully projected in this meditation. One is Aham Brahmasmi, the first concept of Aham Brahmasmi, and the second one is Vasudhaiva Kudumbakam. Once I have understood that I am Brahmasmi, then I feel Vasudhaiva Kudumbakam, the whole world is one big family. It's a great concept. This Anapanasati, thanks to Brahmashri Patriji, and for us, Chandra Master, the real master. Thank you so much, Chandra. We are all enjoying this pursuit of excellence. We are consciously aware that we are moving to the next level, and it's going to benefit thousands and thousands of people in the near future. Thanks for this opportunity to interact with my fellow travelers in this wonderful journey. Thank you very much. Jai Hind. Namaskar.
Thank you so much, sir. You've always been always inspired when you speak. The quality, the passion with which you run the foundation, that we are learning more and more about it, just speaks volume that you're not running it for 1 year, 2 years, for 45 years, running it and excelling it in the Sankara Foundation. It's just a testimony to everything you spoke and why you're recognized with Padma Shri also. Thank you so much. I really loved small aim is a crime. If that's what small aim is a crime. If we are infinity, why aim smaller? It's a crime. If that's Abdul Kalam. You said Dr. Abdul Kalam mentioned it. That is just amazing. Amazing. You know, the beauty of consciousness is that we just have to say to ourselves that I'm going to be this. The moment we commit, I'm going to be traveling around the world. The moment we commit, it'll just automatically start spreading itself and then makes it happen because God, that positive urgency. So thank you so much, sir, for giving multiple messages, ending with those 2 beautiful Vedic concepts. Thank you. Always inspiring. it doesn't matter whether we all accomplished, but then every time we read, there's always something, because each of us are there to learn from. We are all here to learn from each other. So thank you for these wonderful messages on this Tuesday, your 5th week of our meditation program. I'll take Mr. Narendra ji, your quick observation.
It's a very fortunate for all of us to hear Padma Shri Dr. Ramani of Shankar Netralaya. I had a personal account of his performance in my earlier capacity as the chairman of Indian Overseas Bank. And I had also read a book on Shankara Netralaya, which is a success story to be read. So, of course, he is very committed for this service to the humanity. And Shankar Netralaya and under his and his madams and other trustees has expanded. And as he mentioned, around 11 hospitals. And it has been, as you rightly mentioned, 40 years working for a cause and still enjoying and still improving. That itself is a case for excellence. And he has rightly mentioned that all of us will have to dream big, because and then we have to give shape to those dreams, and by brick and brick, the seed which we put towards achieving the dream, with our commitment, hard work, sincerity, and passion for excellence, that dream becomes definitely reality. This is the story of so many role models, either in India or abroad, and even our meditation masters. And today, Master Chandra also, with the Buddha CEO Foundation, under the blessings of Brahmashri Patriji, has started, and it is already blossoming. So every person has been given that abilities and to think big, and he has been blessed by the creator, whoever we believe that the creator, he has been blessed. So nobody should think of themselves anywhere inferior to others, and everybody has the opportunity in this world, and those opportunities will have to be harnessed for the betterment of our individuals and betterment of the institution, and with that betterment of the country we serve or the global world. So with this meditation, all these excellences can be achieved, and that will become a reality. And as we have been experiencing that energy, and energy gives us quite a lot of study, or what you call indication, that there is no time limit or there is no age limit. Everybody is poised for excellence. And thank you, Dr. Ramani Saab. You are a very great motivator, and you have been continuously in the last these sections of meditation, and all of us will have to follow you, and it will be too more for us to hear you, and everybody is acknowledging that your words are highly inspiration, but proved by your success factors. This is coming out of your heart. Let us all definitely acknowledge and appreciate you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, Narendra ji.
Yeah. Giving this opportunity, the right person for the right topic, I can say. Pursuit of excellence, I can see and learn a lot from both Dr. Ramani and Dr. SVB sir, and the chairman of Shankara, Dr. SVB sir also. And so much of perfection, so much of patience towards the job, to the patients. I could see the way in which the dedication and involvement and commitment for charity work. That is amazing. Amazing. Personal business, if somebody do for personal benefit, is something different. But for public work and charity, and make sure that eliminating blindness from this country, working on it continuously, talking to people, talking to donors, and know how much amount of effort he would have made. Whenever I go to all my birthdays, all our family birthdays, we go to Shankara and feed the patients there, and it is amazing. I think seeing is believing. excellent job. I pray for behalf of all of us, give both of them a long life and give more service to the humanity, and let meditation, because of meditation, it multifold. Whatever they are doing is multifold further and further. Thank you, Doctor. As usual, it's highly inspiring talk.
Thank you.
You never, miss a chance to impress upon people. Thank you so much. It's wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you. SVB sir.
Good morning to everybody.
SVB sir is the chairman for Shankarai Foundation. Has been this. Yes, sir. You both have gone a long way.
You all agree, excellence has no limit. How do you evaluate the excellence? You say there is no limit. How do you evaluate? Dr. Ramani is an example for that. 40 years back, when he decided, in spite of the fact both he and his wife Radha have come out very successfully out of their medical education with gold medals, if they had chosen to do the private practice, they would have now built a strong, very, very wealthy institution of their own. Maybe multiple buildings, multiple farms, multiple assets, but he didn't choose. Both of them decided that we will do the social service. To start the first hospital in Coimbatore, he has to knock at the doors of many donors for each room. And by collecting the money, he was able to do the first hospital. But the service that he rendered in this hospital made people from America, friends, they came and saw it. They said, why not put up a hospital in Andhra? In Guntur, we will fund. So they funded the hospital. We had put up that hospital. Then after that, Kannada people from Shimoga, they approached because they also saw the service rendered by Sankara Hospital, both in Coimbatore and Guntur. They came and said, then Dr. Ramani said, yes, in that case, you buy the land at your cost. Maybe friends from America will fund for the building. It has happened. After that, one of my friends, Mr. Venkat Reddy, he offered a 5-acre land out of his trust in Bangalore city, Marthahalli. Then that hospital was also built by friends from America. Then after the people from London and so on, they started giving. Likewise, in Ludhiana, Anand, then after Kanpur, then again in Rajasthan, again in Bombay, now in Hyderabad. But all those things, he never went to anybody. People from that area, they said, we will put up the hospital, because each hospital cost about 70 crores. You don't bother about money. What we want is Sankara should come and put up the hospital in our place. We'll fund the entire thing. The one that he started in Coimbatore, he has to go to everyone's door to get the money for each room. Today, for the whole hospital, number of states, even the chief ministers of Chhattisgarh, he says, he sent his officers to Coimbatore. He said, yes, we will put entire land and building, we'll put it, you come and put up an hospital. Then likewise, L&T chief, he want to have it in Surat, we'll fund the entire hospital, you come and put up a hospital. Like that, for us as an industry, if you want to raise money, you will have to go to the banks, so the security, then mortgage of properties and other thing. Now today, Ramani, if you want to put up an hospital, even 10 hospital costing about maybe 700 crores, on one single say, yes, I'll put up an hospital in your place, the money will come without any guarantee, without any of the charges, it will come. So excellence means when you do a service, that service should be recognized and that should bring everything for you, where you will be free to do your job, which is going to help a number of people. It is a pure service without taking any money. It is being done, and that has been one of the examples for pursuit of excellence. So Dr. Ramani has proved that. Therefore, excellence means just saying, excellence has no limit. No. How we get it done is the way Dr. Ramani has proved. Therefore, he is a role model, an example for saying excellence has no limit. Yes, that he has achieved, and there is no limit for this also. Now people are still, the other states are approaching him to put up a hospital in their area, and money is no problem at all. Service, for which, you know, we can go on talking how he has been able to do that, what type of, you know, people he is able to bring in, train them. And if he is going to put up an hospital, he doesn't take any people from Tamil Nadu. He goes and select people from there with all 10th and 12th standard students from there, particularly girls, bring them here, train them for 18 months, and again go and put it when the hospital is ready, then they used to be stationed there. Like we're same thing with hospitals also. So people of that land, that area is getting the benefit of unemployment. People of that area, poor people who can't afford to pay for the treatment, they come and get treated. That's why Vasudhaiva Kudumbakam is one example. If at all, if we want to show, it is Sankara institution, is Vasudhaiva Kudumbakam, is one institution which can prove, which we can always take it an example, tell people, if you want to have to learn about an example for Vasudhaiva Kudumbakam, just don't do anything, look at what Sankara is doing. With this, I am very happy to congratulate my friend Dr. Ramani, and I wish him much more, many more of this, because that is why he has been recognized by Government of India with Padma Shri, and also more than that, a member of the Medical Council of India. All these things will automatically come. Excellence means these are all the excellence. So he is a role model for the pursuit of excellence. With this, I wish that he grows much higher in his life. Thank you, Chandra.
Thank you, sir. Let's take the message from Karthikeyan, sir.
As always, SCB has given the perfect description of the personality and what happened now. There is no way I can improve upon what he has said. And it's what a combination of an eminent expert like Dr. Ramani, and supported by equally committed chairman, SCB. Together, they have created this wonderful institution all over. I have been there a number of places. There is great admiration from the local people. If you want to see any institution of excellence, visit any of the Shankara hospitals. So to sum up, we can say Dr. Ramani is a symbol of perfection, symbol of excellence. Himself, hard work, commitment, man of great integrity, humility, and perfect teamwork. And there is no further example, model for anyone, any walk of life, how to lead a life of service. And as he rightly is, we can keep on talking about him and his wonderful wife, Dr. Radha, the great people. As I always say, the higher you go, the humbler you become. He's a symbol of excellence, symbol of humility, symbol of service. It's a great matter of great pride, Chandra, that a man of his stature, eminence, is attending the program every day. That itself is a promotion, if at all we need. Of course, it's also a great service only. But to tell anybody, a person like Dr. Ramani, who has achieved everything in life, so committed to service, to humanity. Next to giving life is giving eyesight. That is the greatest gift, is a gift of sight. Next to life. And there is no life without, and millions of people have been given eyesight. And most of them are poor. And every fifth person in the world, a blind person, is an Indian. I don't know, maybe it has improved, I don't know. So such a way, when he took up the cause, it was very bad. And the World Health Organization was funding for some time, then they stopped it. And then only the government institutions cannot do much. So the government encouraged them to do something, and they used to subsidize it. And that too, they stopped for some time. At that time, Vision India Vision India, Vision 2020. That time, Dr. Badrinath and Dr. Ramani and Arvind Swami from Madurai. These are some of the people who came forward and restored eyesight to millions of people. And again, unfortunately, the small subsidy was also stopped. At that time, Vision, Dr. Badrinath and all these people approached me. I took it up with Prime Minister Dr. Manmohan Singh. He said, not only they are not given the 12, 13 crores which they are due to them, promised by them, they stopped also. Some Joint Secretary wrote to them, okay, enough, don't go and identify the poor people, restore eyesight. So they approached me also. I took it up with the Prime Minister. Then, fortunately, like yesterday we heard from Dr. Tangavelu how he wrote to Indira Gandhi, and then somebody came. Here, Dr. Manmohan Singh acknowledged my thing. He wrote to me, and money was paid and they restored. Such a great service they are doing, selfless people. They are blessed. Giving eyesight to millions of people. Millions of people would have been, led a blind life. Such a great service. They are done it with so much cumulative service. So I congratulate Dr. Ramani and also SVB who stood with him all the time in promoting all these institutions. And it's a great model. We are, again, I would say, as he rightly said, beautifully said, what do we do? Meditation. Beautifully said, to further enhance the quality of life in every way and to give you a forward thrust in your life and in pursuit of excellence. How beautifully he has summed up the whole thing. I want to share with friends good news. A dear friend of mine, a top functionary in the World Bank, I've been persuading them to join, and last 7 days they have been attending, the whole family. Someday when he chooses to talk, he can talk. I don't want to embarrass. There are many others also who have come and talked, but then they don't want to be, so I don't mention their names. And he has said, yesterday he wrote to me telling, he's a little glad in the heart of, we are all committed to these movements like as much as you are now. FCB, Ramani, Tangavelu, Balasundram and other Guy and others. He said, I'm very happy. Last night only he received a message. Participating in this meditation, he said, it's a divine experience. What further you want, encouragement you want. A man like Dr. Ramani attending it every morning, sparing his time. And my good friend, a top functionary in the World Bank. He is a symbol of fitness. I have not seen a more fitter person than him committed to health, but he had a problem with the shoulder. He had to undergo a couple of surgeries there, recovering, but still working. Then I said, no, you must attend this, it will help you. I've been persuading, now the whole family is attending. And his wife also is a functionary in the World Bank. And they're gifted with a wonderful child. She is not only brought up in America, she is very good in Bharatanatyam, Carnatic music and all that. Is one of the American students in America recognized by the President of America as one of the best students. So such a family is attending. I'm very happy about that. He says, participating in this program, thanks to your persuasion, it's a divine experience. Okay? If at all you need any boost, this is nothing better than that. And I'm very happy. These all, sometimes, I want to tell you, like I'm sure you also feel, but you are committed, you have no choice but to appear. Sometimes we used to feel, why go today? But then the commitment is there, One is, apart from our experience, and we know so many others are seeing us. So if they should see that if a man like SVB or Ramani or Karthikeyan could come every morning, so we have no right to give excuse to sleep. I'm seeing that. So all this together, good luck to you and long life to you. Let this Buddha CEO Foundation spread its wings all over the world.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Wonderful message. It's just certainly whenever your close friends from World Bank, whenever they would like to share, will be great. You talked so much about that young child. We are so curious that we want to see her sing or dance or whatever, perform on the stage. It'll be great. And one thing that I've seen, your commitment, when you say a word, then we commit to that word. This is something we all develop. Commitment to the word that we give, commitment to the cause that we give is what we've always seen. So thank you, Karthikeyan, for being there. And what a beautiful way of we're hearing the whole story of Shankara Foundation. Pursuit of excellence leads to, there's no end to it. And then that's what we heard from SVB, sir. People are there queuing up for doing more, asking Ramani sir to do more, and SVB and Ramani sir together to do more of this whole cause. Lovely. So we don't have to expect results. We don't have to look for results. We keep doing our work selflessly and with excellence, and then automatically the results have to show up. That's what all great personalities have done. It's wonderful. I've learned a lot today, sir, with all the commentaries. And I know some more are there. Bharat Chaji, so we'll just take so I realize we haven't formally closed it. So thank you so much for staying back and listening to this wonderful talk. And, in all of this, it's not very far for us. I mean, that's why I say, when we meditate, meditation is naturally imbibing those qualities in us. So it's not very far to reach. It's not like a moon there. It is there with us. It is just that we're getting all the qualities through meditation, regular practice. And meditation is acting as a catalyst. Catalyst means what takes 10 days will take an hour. So that's what it is. So it is never too late for any of us because it's a catalyst we put into ourselves so that it brings out that infinite potential. So what can achieve in 10 years can achieve in 10 months with that vigor and enthusiasm, with that power of thought and all that. So we are lucky to be in this path, and I'm so grateful as a foundation, sir, Karthikeyan sir, we are very, very grateful to be having this opportunity to share with as many people as possible. Thank you, sir. That's great. Thank you so much for joining. And so we'll meet back again tomorrow. We're going to be continuing our week. Tomorrow will be on Purpose of Life, trying to understand what is it and how do we understand it, and how meditation may help us to get to a purpose. So thank you all.